Pure Flix movie review.
All right, guys. Well, this is it's not our monthly type thing because it was like 6 weeks between shows, but our movies. But we did our Pure Flix movie review this week, and we did a movie. I watched a few trailers, and I thought, oh, this one looks pretty decent. And it's called Making Him Famous. And I would encourage all the listeners to go out there and watch the trailer, because that's pretty much as good as it's going to get. And now I understand why there's not many people pushing this movie, but not to give away our thoughts on it quite yet. Chuck, we sent this to you Monday night, right?
Yeah, I believe it was Monday.
You watched it just a couple days ago.
Tuesday night.
Okay.
We watched it Tuesday night.
And you didn't watch it all the way to the end, though.
Well, apparently not. I got to the start, the credits started rolling, and then I cut it down.
Well, we held on, and there was a little bit extra at the
There was
end.
an Easter egg.
It tied it all together and
Everything
just explained
made sense.
everything.
Yeah, okay.
Except it didn't.
Okay, so, babe, why don't you, before we totally make fun of this movie, it's not that, I mean, it was not that great, but what is it about?
It was about a guy that was famous. He apparently is
A public speaker of some sort?
Yeah, some sort of speaker, and you see that he's speaking in different cities across the globe, so he's kind of
He's
out
like
there.
the Dave Ramsey, but he's not Christian necessarily.
Or Tony
Right.
Robbins,
Tony
maybe?
Robbins,
There you
yes.
go.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's not necessarily money guy, but he's just a motivational speaker.
Right.
Yep.
He's,
Yeah.
what's that guy's name? Down by the river.
Oh, Matt Foley.
Yeah, he's Matt Foley. That's
well,
what-
anyway, so he's famous, and apparently something happens and
Right, he
changes
loses his
everything.
fame.
And so then he's struggles
basically
to,
homeless. He's not completely homeless. He's living in a
first.
truck down by the river.
He starts off in an apartment, and then
Yeah, a rough apartment.
a rough
Rundown.
apartment, and then
They make that very
loses
clear.
that and ends up in the truck, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So then, but
So he moves into the homeless shelter
Well,
where
he's-
serving
he got in
community
trouble.
service time
Yes.
for a sentence that he received because of some speeding tickets.
so he is.
Not quite how that works.
Well, he had a lot, I guess, and so they just gave him some community service, and while there, he becomes part of it. He needs a place to stay, also. But as he's there, his life, he starts seeing that he doesn't have any meaning in his life, and because he's a total failure, and he has a transformation, obviously. And now he has a purpose, and that is helping people at the homeless shelter. So that is basically it in a nutshell.
You make it sound so much better.
Well,
Well, actually, I was telling Sarah this when I walked in a while ago. The actual storyline could be a good movie.
right. Well, did you see the trailer?
No, I didn't see the trailer.
Okay.
I just went right into
Yeah, well,
the
you went
movie.
into it straight. So we saw the trailer, and the trailer was like it had potential. It
It did have potential.
So here's the big problem. Right away, we almost stopped. Right away, and this has nothing to do with story or anything. And being movie makers ourselves in some ways, Rebecca really being one, making 2 movies, and us doing some kind of audio and video. We understand that there's problems in audio and video. There's just lighting issues. There's sound issues. But their sound was awful.
And that was throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
It wasn't like just an instant at the beginning.
Right.
It was,
It
throughout
was
the whole
awful.
movie.
And
It was
it was so distracting.
It
I
was
almost,
so bad I noticed.
Well-
You know, so,
well, I know at least several of us were looking around wondering, is something wrong with my ears? Or like, can y'all understand the words that they're saying? Because I
it's
couldn't
distracting.
understand.
So I can't hear well to begin with.
What was that?
Yeah, exactly. And especially the spoken voice. That's probably the right, particularly women's voices, but we're not going there. But so my sound system at the house is tweaked for the vocal. So I honestly didn't notice the bad sounds of the
Wow.
movie.
Well, it wasn't like, so the bad sound, and maybe your system didn't do this, but it would go from one character to the next. One character would like have perfect sound, and then the other one would have background noise, and then the perfect sound, background noise, perfect sound, background noise, and it was just I couldn't keep up with the conversation because I'm so distracted of like what is happening. How are they doing this? How are they outside and then in the studio? Outside in the studio.
I know. That was pretty, especially in the restaurant.
Yes.
That scene, yeah.
It was
like,
so... And
You sound like my grandfather. My grandfather at one point worked for Technicolor, and he was actually quality control going through doing the Technicolor stuff. So he, after that job, he was never actually able to follow a movie all the way to the end.
Okay. Yes, I could see. So that was problem number one. It was, and look, I'm trying, PureFlix. I'm trying to help you out here. We're trying to promote this, and honestly, it's not the worst watch in the world, but it is difficult to get through.
It's close.
Yeah, well, because of the sound issues for us were dramatic, and was like, what are we doing? Then the second issue. Now we had our debates after this, and I'm all right with vague. I'm all right with vague in a movie, but it was just so disjointed, and it was like there's a path to where this could be a good movie, and they decide to take the side paths and focus on these side paths that have nothing to do with anything, and miss kind of the potential that it could have been. Like there was potential of a good story.
yeah, there was. It could have been.
Like, hey, I'm a popular, like his grandfather was a preacher, and he's like, one day, granddad, am I going to be a popular preacher? He's like, well, we don't know. And obviously his granddad is dead.
Right.
And he becomes this famous speaker. Now, he's not Christian, and which kind of threw some people off, which they thought maybe he was a preacher. I'm like, no, he wasn't a mega church guy. He was just a motivational speaker. And then it all came crashing down.
But to that, they never specified. So you just have to assume he's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, well, was he a preacher? Was he a motivational speaker? What was he? It just never said. So
like I said, I'm all right with vague, and I didn't want this movie to become 2.5 hours. So I'm all right with vague. And
there's my problem with it is there's too many holes in the plot that left you wondering what's going on. Do I need to fill this in myself? But
you're concerned with the side plots.
Well, no,
they have so many side things that didn't matter, and they didn't bring that together. And so that's why I was like, there's so much going on that didn't help. Like it just didn't help the story along. So why even have it in there? So
right. Yeah. Some things they added that didn't need to be there, and the things that needed to be there, they weren't there, and it left you wondering what's going on.
So what about the guy who had the tattoo on his neck?
That's what I'm talking about.
And that was at multiple cities when he was the motivational speaker, and then actually at the homeless shelter.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, okay,
this
guy's got something to do with this.
He was in the credits.
Was he really?
Yes.
Yeah, and it made no sense.
I didn't know if it was one guy or multiple guys.
This has got to be something to do with. He's going to come out. And Jake's like, no, I don't think so.
I think he's
No.
Me personally, I think he was like an angel. And
That's what he was supposed to be.
Judgment of God.
Angels get tattoos?
Well, because it was messenger of God or something like that.
Right.
That's what it said in Hebrew on the back of his neck.
It didn't make any sense.
It was very vague, and like I said, I'm all right with vague, but
So
everything
it was supposed to be a point to it.
I
They were
think
supposed to, but they never.
It wasn't very clear.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They didn't show his face. He didn't ever said anything. So one person just pointed out that, hey, he was messenger of God. That's what it says in the back of his neck.
Okay, so one thing I was thinking today, if he was, I was going to say unsaved or not a Christian or whatever, why would the messenger be there at all?
Well, because he's trying to, like all these movies, the angel comes down and knocks him out. I'm going to give you a second chance. We're trying. It's a movie.
I know, but
his grandfather had prayed for him.
That's
right.
It
never showed that.
We understand.
That's one of the plot
It just
holes
had a lot of potential. This one failed miserably. We were going to watch Church People, and we probably should have.
Yeah, that would have probably been more entertaining for sure.
Yes.
Now, I will say one of the scenes I thought was the best scene.
The baptism scene.
You enjoyed the comic relief, huh?
Yeah,
Yes,
you needed it because.
No, it was. I didn't even. I thought that was kind of dumb, actually, too. But it was just. There was no point to a lot of the scenes, and they trying to fix it all at the end, and it just didn't seem to make sense. So, I mean, look, if my kids put together this movie, I would have been proud. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like,
Not so sure.
I'm not so sure you would have been, man. I don't know if I'm believing you.
I was like, okay, they put a lot of time and effort into this.
Well, sure,
and
yeah,
I would have been
okay,
like, you know what? You guys did a good job.
You would have been proud of them,
Yes.
but you would have been proud of the product?
In a way, because you've seen progression, like going from a short film to a feature film, and that's hard to do.
Right.
And I don't know who put this film on, and directed by Burgess Jenkins. So that sounds like what if it's like one of the Jenkins kids or something like
I was
that?
wondering if he's related to Dallas Jenkins.
Right.
I
So
don't know.
I hate to judge. Maybe they're just starting out and
True.
they're trying, and you're like, you know what? If this is, but there's a lot of things you can learn from this, because I'm watching this and looking at the trailer. I'm like, okay, there is potential here for a really good story. The salvation scene is kind of weak.
Kind of?
Yeah. I mean, it's very vague. Once again, everything is very vague, and I'm all right with vague, but you got to help us out a little bit. And it just was like some of the stuff just didn't make any sense. And so, anyway, we don't want to go on too long, but
Well, I do have something good to say about
okay.
it.
So what's the good thing?
I liked. I don't know if it really had like a movie score, but
Oh, my
it did
goodness.
have a number of worship songs
Oh my
on
goodness!
there.
They had
And-
9 worship songs in this thing.
And I like worship music, so I was like, I
Yes.
thought that was pretty cool.
It was definitely an advertisement for elevation worship. It's like, oh, wow! Every turn there was an elevation song going on.
It's 8.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
I know.
I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
26 people.
votes.
Yes, 26 people. We saw that, and that's why I wondered, like, why? Okay, if it's really high and the trailer looks good, what's wrong with this? Well, we soon find it needs to be tweaked a little, edited a little bit better, and the sound quality needs to be a little bit better, just for my sake. The acting wasn't awful. I didn't think the actors did a terrible job.
No, I didn't think so either. And I thought the main character did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
But-
he's doing what the script says,
Right.
and I thought they did fairly well. The actual movie shots were, the cameras and all that were fine. It was just the sound and the editing, like it was just so choppy and not clear in some things, and maybe it was just a matter of time. And you know what? I have no idea how big the budget this was, and so you are going to get what you pay for sometimes.
Well, yeah, but I think they could have done a better job of tying things together in the story.
Well, like I said, once again, if you want to make it 20 minutes longer, it's 20 more.
No, there
you
were
got-
some things that, like that whole scene with that woman he met at the gym.
Eden?
That didn't even need to be there. So they
Eden
could
from
have
The
taken
Chosen?
that time
Yeah.
and tied things together.
How was
but-
he even at the gym, man? He
Well, that's
can't
the
even
other
afford-
thing. Yeah, he can't. He's behind on every bill.
Good point.
But
That's
anyway,
because he's spending all his money to go to the gym.
That's enough. How about we got to give our rating here, and this is tough. Yeah, this is Chuck is very kind. He was kind on the last one. So what do you, on a scale of 1
We're
to
doing
10?
the Pure Flix rating or general rating?
Pure Flix rating. You
Pure
could do
Flix
both.
rating, I can go 2.
2. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'd be. Yeah.
I forget what I gave Running the Bases, but I would have given this one a 3.5, 4 maybe. The sound really threw me off. I'm all right with the vagueness, but you gotta help me out just a little bit and make the story just. Don't focus on the incidentals. Get to the. I don't care about the side plot of Eden or
Right.
the side plot of the guy getting baptized, even though that was kind of funny. I get it. I don't care about the side plot even of the bishop. That had nothing to do with anything.
No, it didn't.
So
it looked
just-
like it was going to.
right,
But then
And
it
just
was
fell apart. So I for that I just 3.5,
Wow.
maybe 4. I know it's a little high.
Yeah. That's being gracious.
I think I'm going to have to say maybe 3.
Yeah, I'm the generous one this time.
Yeah, I
Wow,
know.
yeah.
It just was rough, but it did have the worship music. So I'll give
Oh
it.
yeah. Okay, maybe that's why I bumped it up.
I
So
don't know.
the soundtrack was not a soundtrack, but it was
Right. Yeah. Hey.
a bunch of Mac Brock.
Yeah.
And Larry, he's gonna say 1.
No, I said 2.
Oh, say 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so 2.
I
You
agree with Chuck.
Yeah.
Ah, so it's better than some.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better than running the bases. What did I get that one? I don't remember.
I don't remember. We have to keep track of this. We have to get a chart over here and what we rated.
So Burgess Jenkins actually directed Remember the Titans?
Yes, I remember the Titans.
Yeah, he directed that one. Army Wives, have no idea. The Reaping. So this filmmaker was Cornelius Mueller.
Okay.
And this was his fourth film.
Okay.
So it is pretty early.
Yeah.
If he's looking for a film career, yeah.
Well, I'm shocked because Remember the Titans was a fairly good one. Like it was well done, and so I don't know the other ones.
Well, was this one before Remember the Titans?
No, this one just came out. This year.
Oh.
So anyway, PureFlix is trying to do a lot more originals and all that. They have series now. So we're going to try to look at some of the originals, but one of them didn't come out when they said they were going to come out. We were waiting for The Divine Influencer to come out on the 21st, and it still hasn't come out. So come on, PureFlix, help us out a little bit.
I think we saw it.
Yeah, I know, right? It might have been this one.
Cornelius actually produced Brother's Keeper.
Okay, you know that?
Yeah, that one was a decent. That was
Brother's Keeper.
A lot better than this one.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Anyway,
that is our PureFlix movie review. Go check it out, and you can understand what we're talking about and see what you guys think. Put in the comments below, or tell us what you think about the movie, and give us a suggestion on some PureFlix movies because we are open. But we're going to try to watch Divine Influencer next time, but it might be the same movie.
I think we should go with Church People.
Larry's saying Church People. Maybe you guys should vote for, or you could let us know. All right, let's get out of here, Joshua.